Okay, so basically the whole point of Learn and Heal was that I felt like health and preventative medicine education was too valuable to keep to ourselves. So we're bringing it to you tonight naturally. And the goal of Learn and Heal is to teach people how they can achieve a healthy diet, healthy exercise goals, and a healthy lifestyle along with gentle and effective natural medicine. If you're feeling so moved, Learn and Heal is gladly accepting donations for its kickoff campaign, and any gift would be graciously accepted. We are a 501c3, so your donation is tax deductible. I'll post the address of where to send checks. You can also donate it through our website with PayPal. Tonight we're going to be diving into some of the gentle methods that a naturopath and an acupuncturist use to help patients to find calm. We'll go through a guided meditation to help you consciously relax. Then we'll go over a few acupressure points that you can use at home anytime you need a little serenity. Last, we'll do a few Qi Gong exercises, and these are designed to be gentle, and you're going to do them as you're willing and able. You need just a few feet of space. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to type them into the chat section. I will be looking for them. All right, so, oops, there's a few more folks who are coming in now. Welcome everybody as you're connecting. I'm so happy to have everybody here with me tonight. So we are about to get started. For those of you who just arrived, I'm Dr. Angela McCann, and we are, this is the maiden voyage for Learn and Heal Integrative Health, and so happy to have you here with us. So the first thing we're going to start off with is conscious relaxation. So some of you have done this with me in the past. So you're going to be familiar with this. And if you're not familiar with it, it's really okay. It's really easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to aim my camera so that way you can see my hand, and my hand is going to be over my belly, okay, over my low belly. And that's where I want you to put your hands, if you would, right over your low belly, and then one right over your solar plexus. And you're going to breathe into that space. I need some of these breaths tonight too. So one hand over the belly and one hand over the solar plexus. And you're going to feel the rise of the belly and the rise of the solar plexus and the fall of the belly and the fall of the solar plexus. And then you're going to take that one hand, that hand that's over your belly, and you're going to place it over your heart. One hand over belly and one hand over heart. And breathe into those two spots. And these two spots, if you're feeling any tension here, any stress that's been coming up for you over the last few weeks, just breathe into this space. I know some of you are coming to me as parents who have kids, and you probably need to breathe into these heart spaces just as much as everybody else. Opening up that heart and allowing it to relax. And then moving that hand that's over the solar plexus, place it over your neck. And you're going to feel the wave of breath moving between heart and neck. And then that hand that's over your heart, you're going to move it up to your forehead. Okay, if you're wearing glasses, you can take them off now. And you're going to put that one hand over the throat and one hand over the forehead. And just feel the relaxation going over your head. And that wave of breath going to these two areas. And now you can take the heels of your hand and place them over your eyes. And we'll feel that relaxation as you're relaxing as you're letting your hands rest over your eyes. Let your fingers, the touch of your fingers, relax your temples. Let the touch relax your cheeks and the space between your cheeks and your nose until you're feeling calm and focused and present. So you can relax, and from this space, if you need to put your glasses back on, you can. You can relax your hands back down. There's actually, in the audience tonight, there's a few board members who are here, so I want to say thank you to them who were able to make it. Iris Grattan and Sylvia Smoch are here tonight as well. So thanks very much for being here. So we are here to do some relaxation. So now after our conscious relaxation, we're going to do some acupressure. And the first points that I want to start with are going to be right here in the wrist. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to put your wrist out and use your thumb. Yep, just like that. And just find the space right at the crease of your wrist. I'm going to try to put that right up here. So there's 1, 2, 3 acupuncture points here. So what I want you to do is actually just massage across all 3 of these. All 3 of these points are ideal for helping with relaxation. These points are great if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling, I know for myself, with this COVID experience, every once in a while I get into that panic place, that place where I'm saying, is this real? Was this really happening in our world? I find that this spot, if I can massage across these points and do it in a way where I'm calm, it actually, you can feel your body calming down. You're going across 3 different points. 2 I want to bring up. The one right in the center of your palm is the pericardium channel. And this point is the heart protector. It protects your pericardium, it protects your heart. That's what the pericardium is. It's a covering to your heart. So this point in particular is great at just releasing and allowing the channels that go through your heart, or those energetic channels that go through your heart, just to relax. And then there's another point that's a little further off, kind of where your pinky, I'm going to flex over here, where your pinky side, the bone and the tendon meet. You kind of fall right over it. It's very plucky there. You're going to fall right over it into a very tender hole. And you can massage right into that spot. That is a heart cooling point. It tones the heart, so if you're feeling depleted, it helps in that way, but it also cools the heart. So if you're feeling very anxious and very revved up, this point will help you relax. All right. So usually I do that for about 1 minute to 3 minutes, depending on how much I need. And how much you need, and then we can go to the other side, and we're going to just massage across all 3 points, the whole crease of the wrist. There's a couple creases in that wrist. There's actually 2 lines. You might see it and you might not, but that top crease is the one that really has the most of the points. And so as you're going across, if there's any really tender spots in there, you can just let your hands dwell at that spot. And I found one for me right here, right in the center, and it's in between, here, I'll try to make the tendons pop up. It's right in between maybe that way's easier. Right in between these 2 tendons. There's a hole in there. And so that tender point, that's the heart protector again, that's the pericardium channel. And you can kind of dig in there. If it's too tender, you don't have to do it, okay? You should never be pressing so hard you're giving yourself a bruise. But you can just massage right into that point. And then you can roll on out to the edge here, where the pinky side bone and that pinky tendon. Oh, so there's the tendons again, just so you can kind of see the picture. Maybe this way. Nah, it's like this way. Here's the tendon. You pluck right over it into a hole. There's the hole. It's very tender sometimes when you get it. If you're having difficulty getting it, it's okay. You can always just go back to the sweep. If you're feeling like, wow, I really can't find that point, you just go back to the sweep. But for me, it's right here, right at the base, right where the crease is, right where the bone meets the tendon. Okay. All right, so the next point I want to show you is right in between your eyebrows. So this point, so I kind of slide my glasses down a little. All right, and so what you're going to do is I like to tap on this spot. The spot is literally right in between your eyebrows, right in the center. So what you're going to do is just gently tap right here. This point is called yin tong. And I like to call it serenity now. You sometimes will find me doing this, for example, in the grocery store when I'm pushing my children around. If I need serenity now, this is where I will go. And I don't know if you can see it in the mirror or in the video screen there, but I'm going right in between those eyebrows. And I like the tapping for this point the best. There's actually a technique that goes along with the tapping. It's called emotional freedom technique, and some people really love this for relaxation and stress relief. So this is one of those points. Okay, so we've been doing this about a minute. So the next point we're going to find is right at the top of your head. If you really want to find it technically, it's where your ears, when you fold them in half, where they meet right at the top, there's kind of a hole in there. All right, so if you find that little hole, it's a little tender hole. You can massage into it, or you can kind of tap on it. So find those ears, the top of the ears, and it's where your fingertips, like if you're making a triangle, it's where, like, if you're just line the fingertips up, it'd be right where they meet at the top. So right there. And this point, if you're really in the point, you'll know it because you'll get tingles. And for me, it's sending tingles down the back of my head. And sometimes it's just a dull ache when you get into these points. All right. So we have a little time here, so we can go to a couple other points. Whew. All right, so the other points I want to show you, there's a really great point in the hand for relaxation. This one's actually just really great for stress relief. And so what you'll do is on the back of the hand, so where the pointer finger is, it's the bone. So if you go from the pointer finger, follow the bone. That bone, right in the center of the bone, is a very tender point. So you'll know when you get there because you'll say, whoa, that is a lot more tender than all the rest of those points. And so for me, when I find the point, actually when I just found the point, it feels a little like you're on top of a nerve a little bit. So rub into that spot. Don't want to bruise it, but you do want to get down to where you feel like, oh, that is pretty tender. This point releases stuck qi. So qi in traditional Chinese medicine is life force or energy. So when you are feeling depressed, down, just stressed out, this is a great point to massage into. It releases qi. It allows the energy of your body to flow freely. I know that sounds a little airy-fairy, but well, that's the theory behind it. And once it's starting to feel a little bit more calm and not quite so tender, then we'll switch to the other side. But for right now, mine's still pretty tender. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. This can be a pretty tender point for most people. All right. I feel like I'm rushing through this tonight, so I'm not meaning to do that, but yeah. So we're going to go to the other hand. And so the way I find it is finding that pointer finger. You find the knuckle, you follow it down, and there's you could find the beginning of that bone at the knuckle and the end of that bone where it kind of goes over a bump, and the point is right in the center, in the fleshy part of your hand, right in there. All right. So I think I've shown you a couple different ways. I think I've done it without actually saying it. So I guess I've been using my pointer finger to dig into these points. You can use any finger, okay? So sometimes you'll find that one of your fingers is really painful and it's like just too much to use that finger. You can always use your thumb. So switch it around and use a thumb. Or sometimes if your hands are really painful, you can use a pencil eraser. Okay, you can actually use a pencil eraser and kind of get in there. So feel free to do that if you need to. So we'll massage into that spot. All right. So I want to be able to show you guys a few Qi Gong exercises. So what I'm going to do is actually going to take these headphones off, and I need you guys to tell me if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to show you how to do these, and you're welcome to stand up and just find a little space here as well. The first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to try to get far back enough where you can see my feet. I need to go, sorry, I got to switch the view. Somehow I have, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to rely on your nods to tell me if you can see can you see my feet? No, kind of. All right, so that's about as far, yeah. Okay, great. So what I want you to do is I want you to put a little bend in your knees, and your feet are going to be about hips width apart. Okay, and actually I'm going to come forward now that you see my feet. I'm going to, the more important part is actually what you're going to do with your hips. You're going to do a pelvic tuck. Okay, so you're going to imagine a pelvic tuck happening and a hook. Your tailbone is going to be like a hook, and you're going to imagine it coming straight up, right up through the top of your head. If you fall out of that pelvic tuck, you can always just go right back into it again. Okay, so a little bend in the knees, a pelvic tuck. The first exercise we're going to do is called, well, it's a form of tranquil standing. So I'm going to turn so you can see me. So all you're going to do is stand. Stand and move your arms. Yep. So it's just swinging your arms. You're going to have that pelvic tuck. You're going to imagine your tailbone hooking, and it's going to be like a hook coming right up through the top of your head. And you're going to have a little bend in your knees, and arms are going to swing. Tranquil standing is great for calming the heart. Okay, so this Qi Gong exercise, when I was in China, it was quite fun to watch the folks on the street, and they would be doing their exercises. And so this would be one of the exercises they would do. I can feel this pull a little right in here. And so that's the heart protector, right? That's like the part of your chest that's right over your heart. So with that pelvic tuck, a little bend in the knees, and gentle swinging of the arms. Okay. So from this position, what we're going to do is you can kind of relax your knees for a second, make sure they're comfortable. We're going to move into one where you're going to be just making really slight movements. You're going to still have your knees bent. You're going to be making really slight movements, and you're going to be turning. And instead of turning from your stomach, you're actually turning from your hip. All right, so remember, knees bent, pelvic tuck. You're going to be turning from your hips. And you're actually going to feel like a tap on your low back. And this is an exercise for the kidneys. So I'm turning so you guys can see me a little differently. The kidneys in your body, in traditional Chinese medicine, the emotion that's associated with them is fear. So right now there has been undue amount of fear in our world. And so I've chosen this one specifically so we can release some of that. This week, I saw my first few COVID patients. Thankfully, everybody was okay. Of course, seeing them virtually, not in person. But still kind of knowledge that it's present and it's here, and that knowledge sometimes it's a little tricky. So being able to come back to one of these positions and pat out the fear is pretty good for us, I think. Okay, so you can relax those knees. And the last one that I want to do, the last exercise that I want to do, it's a liver exercise. So we're going to do about let's see, we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to get into that stance where your feet are about hips width apart, knees bent, pelvic tuck. And this one, you're going to put your hands over your ribs and you're going to imagine them pushing out. And as they push out, you're going to bend your knees. And when you retract them back, you'll stand up straight. So this exercise is for the liver. Okay, so I think I've mentioned the liver already, where you wanted your liver to release the excess stress that's caught in it. You want your qi to flow nice and smooth. My father's being silly. That's okay. And so all that stress that's trapped in your liver, you want to be able to push it out. And exactly the way you might even be feeling, it's called the hun, is the spirit of the liver. So as you're doing this, you can think of saying, huh, huh. So you guys are all muted. Only I'm the only one who sounds silly. So you can do that as you see fit. All right, so you can kind of come back. So come back to center. What time are we at? All right, so I went a little quick tonight, a little quicker than my normal. Sometimes when I'm in that stance, it bothers my knees. So if you're finding that, just shake those knees out. Shake it out. I don't want you to stand in pain. We have time. We can do one more exercise. And the exercise that we're going to do is
We're gonna do a little bend in the hip, bend in the knees, tuck of the hips, just like the, and we're gonna, basically we're going to, this is a stomach spleen exercise. So you're going to imagine you have a Qi ball, a ball of Qi. So if you've never done this exercise before, try tapping your hands together for a minute. After you finish clapping, feel, can you kind of feel how the, you might have to clap them really hard. But after you finish clapping, you sometimes can actually feel like there's a little something there, a little energy there. And that little energy, I want you to imagine it being between your hands, okay? And so one hand is going to be up about rib height, and the other one is going to be down low. And the way the top fingers are pointing, that's direction you're going to turn in. So you're going to turn gently, just like this. Yep, and so again, the turn is going to be similar to the last time. Instead of twisting at the hip, at the waist, the twist is going to be in your hips, in this area. Okay, so imagine the twist being in that area. Yep, and the top hand is always pointing in the direction that you're going in. All right, so you can come have a seat. Come have a seat and relax. I'm going to regroup. All right. So I guess you can hear me, so I don't have to put the headphones back in. But what I wanted to say was thank you so much for joining me on my first foray into webinars. I've Zoomed with people, but I've never been the presenter. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so the whole reason why I'm starting these webinars is not just because it's because I want everybody to know how to do this stuff. I want the whole world to know how to do this. I want everybody to feel like if they're stressed out, they can find a point that they can tap on. If they're feeling, and actually you could do it on your hands too. I want the whole world to be able to do this. And so that's why I've started Learn and Heal Integrative Health, because I really do want the world to know how to heal themselves. I think that it's time that the world start taking care of themselves. Each and every one of us needs to be able to care for ourselves and know how to do it, and know how to do it in a way that's going to be nurturing. So there's going to be future webinars, and so I imagine that you guys will be receiving an email from me at some point when I have those plans fleshed out. Likely there's going to be some webinars on nutrition, and likely there'll be some webinars on other exercises and other acupressure topics. So tonight was just for stress relief. So thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions, does anybody have any questions? Would you like to me to unmute you, or would you like to type it into the if you have any questions, you can feel free to type it into the chat, or I'll unmute you and you can ask. Here. There you go. I unmuted everybody. So if anybody has anything that they wanted to add, you can. Oh, how long do you complete each Qi Gong exercise? Okay, so Qi Gong exercises, it can be, thanks Iris, it can be 1 minute to 5 minutes. I know I kind of blew through those quickly. But 1 minute to 5 minutes is usually what I do. And so, you know, it can be a quick thing, or it can be something that you kind of have as part of like a evening relaxation, or part of like a getting ready to meditate process.
How many times in a day can you do it?
Oh yeah, you can do this as often as you want. Anytime you need it, basically, you can do a Qi Gong exercise. Oh, okay. So another question, do you suggest people take their blood pressure before and after the exercises? That is totally up to you. First of all, if you have the blood pressure cuff at home and you want to do the experiment, by all means. One of the things with blood pressure, acupuncture really brings down blood pressure. So in a healthful way, it doesn't bring it down so low that you're about to pass out. It brings it down into like the normal range. When you're doing the Qi Gong exercises, because you're standing and moving, it probably will bring your blood pressure up just a little. So it might be more useful if you're going to do the experiment to do it before the acupressure and after the acupressure and see how that goes. Yeah, I hope that answers that question. Any other questions? Hi, Dad. Great. Well, yeah, I'm so happy everybody joined me. Does anybody have questions about Learn and Heal?
No, I don't have questions about it.
More what you want to tell us.
Oh, sure. Well, let me, Iris is actually, so one of my board members is here tonight. Actually, two of my board members are here tonight. So Iris, do you have anything you wanted to add about Learn and Heal?
Well, actually, what I was just going to say is that I'm going to share this with my email subscribers, because we've been talking about the connection between anxiety and menstrual cramps, and how they can be heightened by anxiety. So I think this is really timely, because that's the subject of this past week's newsletter. So thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And I think I actually shared that newsletter on Learn and Heal's Facebook site. So thank you, Iris, for that very timely post. Yeah. Great. So, oh boy. Oops, I missed somebody, so I apologize. I'm just looking over here at my phone, and I realized that I missed adding somebody, so that'll be a part of my learning curve for next time. But likely what I'll be doing is webinars on Thursday evenings, and likely they'll be at 8 o'clock, because that's when my children are asleep. And yeah, if anybody is interested in any more of these, or if you have a topic or something you want to learn more about, send me an email. I'd be very happy to help you with any topics you're interested in. And yeah, so thanks so much for joining me and joining Learn and Heal. I'm sure I will be touching base with everyone in the near future.
Good luck, endeavor. You did a good job.
Nice going.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Love you all. Night, night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.